Today we are reacting to hisYT. I took down a mafia group again, so let's get into the video. From hisYT, he's a great person, and it's I took down a mafia group. So, without ado, let's get into the video.
It was quiet at 11:02 p.m. on a Friday night in the emergency room when I was washing my hands after my last patient. Then the double doors swung open and the paramedics' voices were aggressively sharp. "We got a gunshot victim. Code red. Code red. All hands on deck." 3 paramedics rushed in a man with his blood-soaked shirt wide open, exposing a gunshot wound to his stomach. I quickly dried my hands, slipped on my mask,
What? It's only 25 seconds in and I'm seeing that. Oh, okay.
gloves and went to work. I was scanning his wound first, running a checklist through my head, going through what I might need, then noticed a familiar dragon tattoo on the victim's wrist. The victim barely spoke. "I'm so glad it's you." I recognized his voice, looked up at the victim's face, and completely froze. It was my little brother, Chris, my kind, caring little bro that I love with all my heart. I lost my breath, and my heart started racing. He smiled that classic smile at me. "Hey pal, I bet you didn't think you'd see me here." "What the hell, Chris?" I couldn't talk. Had to focus. "Talk later. Hang in there, buddy." Chris started to say something, then passed out. He'd been shot at close range with what looked like a .357 Magnum or something similar. Fear and panic set in. Sweat poured down my face as I struggled to check his vitals. My nurse Donna noticed my horrified look. "You okay?" "Yeah, I'm good." I was lying, but had to take a deep breath and gather all my strength. "I'll pack the wound. Set up the IVs." We packed the wound with gauze to try and stop the bleeding. Donna hooked up an IV that started pumping new blood and saline into his veins. I went into hyperfocus. "Blood pressure? Blood pressure?" Donna's eyes darted up at the numbers. 70/40. "Give him another unit of blood. Quick!" Donna moved too quickly and grabbed the potassium chloride. I grabbed her wrist, stopped her. "Wrong meds. That will stop his heart within about 20 seconds. Donna realized her mistake. I looked closer at the wound, studied the pace and flow of his bleeding, and realized that the bullet had nicked something it shouldn't have. My panic and anxiety shot through the roof. If I didn't get him into the operating room within 20 minutes, he'd be dead. What would I tell our mom if I failed him? How would I ever face the guilt of knowing that I let him die?
Wait, what? What? Okay, I get into the video, and she's like, your brother has been shot up on the block. Pia. Where did that come from?
Didn't think negatively, swallowed my fears and refocused. I kept working on slowing down the bleeding and thought, how the hell did this happen? Chris worked a desk job at Boston PD. I cut away more of his shirt to see the wound from another angle, then felt something hard inside of his pocket. I reached in and pulled out his police badge and stopped cold when I saw that the name on it read,
"Summer is here." Most people forget things that can seriously ruin their car.
Hate this. I'm sorry guys, but ads.
On it read, Tom Brennan, not his name. That's weird. I set the badge on the tray and kept working. The bleeding was still not under control, and I was running out of solutions.
I'm very sorry about that.
I was failing at getting him ready for surgery. What was I doing wrong? I barked at our medic tech. "Take off his boot for a circulation check." Something else fell out and hit the floor. I saw a second black leather wallet. I opened it up and saw a driver's license with a name inside that read Daniel Reyes, but the photo was Chris's face. What had he gotten into? I stuck his second wallet in my pocket and kept working. I got my medic tech's attention. "Get me chain of custody on his sidearm. I want it bagged before he leaves this room." "Yes, sir." He left. I kept working his wound and finally started to slow down the bleeding. 2 minutes later, my tech returned with a small plastic bag and put the handgun inside of it. I noticed that the serial number on the slide of his gun had been carved off. Cops don't carry illegal pistols.
Wait, what? What is this? I get in 3 minutes in and he's saying cops don't carry illegal pistols. Pew. Oh my god.
His blood pressure was holding, and he was stable for now. At 11:47 p.m., while I was scrubbing his blood off my forearms in the sink, I looked up through the observation window into the lobby and saw two men in black suits standing at the registration desk. They had an eerie, calm look in their eyes, which was unnerving. They didn't look like cops. I noticed that they weren't looking at the receptionist. They were scanning the entire room instead. The exits, the cameras, and the security guard at the door. The shorter one leaned on the counter and asked a question. The receptionist pointed toward the trauma bay. The men turned. They looked through the window and stared right at me. I got a weird vibe. Then they sat down in the lobby chairs, keeping their eyes on me the whole time. I wondered who they were, why they were here, and how they knew Chris. I approached them. You guys here for someone? We sure are, Doc, that gunshot victim. How are you guys related? The shorter one glanced at his buddy, then at me. I'm his cousin. My friend here's not related, but we're all real close. I stayed as still as I could, knowing the guy was lying. He was definitely no cousin of mine. You think he'll make it, Doc? I covered how disconcerted I was. Hard to say. He's being transferred into the operating room for emergency surgery. It'll probably be 4 to 6 hours before we know anything. I'll keep you guys updated. I walked back to the trauma bay and felt their eyes on me the whole way.
My hair keeps going like this. It's because I have a green screen type, and those things in the back is just my chair. I put my thing on the setting, so I have a chair. And my gaming chair is just in the back, so don't mind that.
The shorter one followed me down the hallway and tapped me on the back. Let's you and I have a little talk, Doc. In here. He gestured that we go into a nearby office and shut the door. Something was seriously wrong. He pulled a small manila folder out of his coat pocket and opened it. He held it up so I could see what was inside. It was a photograph of a girl coming out of a side door of Roxbury Middle School. Blue backpack, brown hair in a ponytail. I looked closer and realized that it was my 12-year-old daughter, Lily, walking out of her school yesterday afternoon. Cute kid. You have her every other weekend, right? I turned cold, not wanting to give him the satisfaction of thinking he was scaring me, but I was terrified. I need that cop to not make it. Understand? I don't care how you need to do it, but by the time your shift ends, I want him gone. And don't even think about notifying the cops, or else we'll pay a visit to your house. I quietly nodded in understanding, and he walked out. I was horrified, praying I wouldn't have to choose between saving my daughter or my little brother. I steadied my nerves, headed back into the trauma bay, and immediately called my ex-wife. She answered on the second ring because she always did, even after the divorce. Hey, I need you to listen closely, and don't ask any questions. I need you to wake Lily up right now. Put her in the car in her pajamas, and I need you to drive to your sister's house in Vermont. Right now. Don't pack, don't stop anywhere, and don't use any phones. What? Why? You need to tell me something. Chris has been shot, and there are really bad men here that are trying to finish the job, and they know about you and Lily. Go. Okay. I hung up, then saw two nurses wheel Chris into surgery, and I walked behind them. We passed by the two thugs in suits, and we locked eyes. That's when I started to feel the rage towards them for what they've done to my little brother. We entered the surgery room, and I pulled one of the surgeons aside. Take extra care. That's my little brother. The surgeon took note and touched my shoulder, reassuringly. I waited in Chris's surgery room while the surgeons worked on him. I thought about calling the cops, but wanted to wait until my wife and daughter were safe. I texted my wife every 5 minutes to see if she was on her way to her sister's place, and she didn't respond. I texted her again and again. Did you make it to your sister's? Hey, I'm worried. Text me back. Then I received a text that read, your wife and daughter will be fine if you just do what you're told and be a good little boy. That sent a chill down my spine. Whoever the hell these guys were, they now had my wife and daughter. My hands trembled and my stomach churned. I watched the surgeons flawlessly get the bullet and all of the shrapnel out of Chris's gut and stabilize him. The surgeon pulled me aside. We got everything out of his system. Now it's just a matter of whether or not his body can heal itself. What are his chances? The truth. If I had to guess, 70-30, not in our favor. Sorry, I ignored that. Chris has always been a tough kid. He'll make it. He has to. He was moved into another recovery room down the hall. I looked out of the glass window and saw the two thugs watching my every move very closely. The shorter one approached me in the hallway and pinned me against the wall. You better follow through, or you and your family will experience one hell of a nightmare. I turned cold and thought to myself, As soon as I get the chance, I will kill you. I've never felt such a deep, murderous rage. I slowly nodded, took his hands off of my shirt collar, and walked away. Chris woke up at 5:20 a.m. I was next to him, checking the bag pressure when his eyes opened and he focused on me. He was glad to see me. Then his mood shifted when he realized that I was somewhat aware of his situation. He knew me better than anyone and could tell when I was troubled. What do you know? I know a lot. These guys are for real. They mean what they say. Yeah, they have Sarah and Lily. He closed his eyes, distraught. I'm so sorry, man. What the hell happened to you? He blinked his eyes several times, trying to gather his thoughts. I was working undercover and made my way into the Italian mafia. I was driving a truck, transporting some money for them. I shifted around nervously, now knowing that the guys in the waiting room were mobsters. How long were you doing this? A little over 2 years.
You may play hard, but are you reaping the rewards? Because you could be earning Google Play points. Redeem them for exclusive perks, like sweet accessories and in-game items that carry you to
I
victory.
hate
Redeem
you,
your
man!
points today.
Yeah, I hate this. I hate doing
Years.
this.
I couldn't tell anyone. I understood. He started to fade in and out of consciousness. They found out I was a cop and shot me. I somehow managed to get away from them and found a cab driver that got me here. Then he coughed something up and spit it out into his hand. It was a key, a paper tag through the loop that read 217. He coughed a few times, then caught his breath. Bus station, south corner lockers. Go and get what's in that locker. What's in it? Insurance and evidence. Evidence of what? His eyes rolled back into his head and he passed out. Evidence of what? He was out cold. I knew what I had to do. So I changed clothes, headed into the hallway, made sure the coast was clear, then saw the short guy walking down the hallway towards me. I quickly bolted out of the back door, ran down into the underground parking garage and rushed to my car. I cranked the engine and took off. On my way out, I passed by the short guy, and I wasn't sure if he recognized me or not. It was hard to say. Several minutes later, I parked at the bus station and kept checking my back as I made my way to the south corner lockers, opened up locker 217 and took out a small envelope that had a thumb drive inside of it. I turned and saw the short guy standing about 20 yards away from me. I took off running and he chased me. I made my way through the underground, past subway trains, then back up the stairs to the city streets. No matter how fast I ran, he was still gaining on me. I ran down an alleyway, hopped over a fence, and he grabbed onto my foot. I kicked back at him and nailed him in the face. He dropped back to the ground and turned red with rage. I took off, hopped back into my car, and drove straight back to the hospital. I walked into the entrance and saw the other shady guy glaring at me. It wasn't more than 30 seconds when the short guy, now with a bloodied nose, entered. They both started following me down the hallway. I tried to get away from them, but they grabbed me and slammed me against the wall while no one else was around. Then I got lucky because right behind them, a police officer in civilian clothing with a badge walked in and saw us. I raised my hand to get his attention. Then the taller, shady guy showed me a video of my wife and daughter tied up in a basement somewhere. I froze, horrified. The cop walked over to us. Everything okay here? The two thugs stared at me. I had to say something. Yeah, everything's cool, officer. What brings you by? I heard that one of our own made it in, and I wanted to be by his side. The two thugs glanced at him. Absolutely. I can take you to him. I walked towards Chris's room, and the officer followed me. The two thugs in suits went back to the waiting room, shaking their heads in frustration. I walked into Chris's room with the officer. I didn't catch your name. He smiled at me. Detective Cooper. He leaned in closer to me. Are you all right? I was hesitant, obviously thinking about my wife and daughter and what they must have been feeling at that moment, and if they were okay. I wanted to tell him everything, then hesitated. I started getting choked up, and he looked straight at me. What's wrong, pal? I realized that I had to tell him. I was so scared for my little girl. Maybe there was some way he could help and pretend not to know that he knows or something. Those two men out there are Italian mafia. They have my wife and daughter and want me to kill my little brother, Chris. If I don't, they'll hurt my family. I did my best to hold back tears, but failed. He nodded his head in understanding and patted my shoulder. Those guys out there seem real scary, so I think you should probably do what they tell you to do. I gasped as he let out a wicked smile. He was one of them. I should have known from his watch. It was the exact same expensive model as the short guy in the suit. There was no way this guy could have bought a watch that expensive on a cop's salary. I gathered myself. Right, well, Chris is still recovering and will be for a while. And I think visiting hours are closed, so you'll have to wait in the waiting room. Nah, I'm gonna wait right here with my fallen brother. I'm afraid I'm going to have to insist. It's hospital policy. He got in my face. I don't care about your stupid policy. I ain't moving. He sat right next to Chris, and I could tell as soon as I walked out, he would try and finish the job. I couldn't let that happen, but I was at a loss with how to get him out. I couldn't leave him alone with Chris. I waved down Nurse Donna from the hallway, and she entered. I need you to run a blood and lung check on him. I just did one. We saw something a little weird from the MRI, so do it again. She looked at me, confused, then nodded. This is one of Chris's co-workers. The fake cop nodded. Then Donna started working on Chris. He wouldn't try anything with her in the room. I didn't have long before the two guys would want to know what I got from the locker, so I headed into my office, took the thumb drive out of the small envelope, and popped it into the side of my laptop. A screen with a list of names came up. Next to each name was a dollar amount and a crime next to their name.
Why didn't he just call the police as he's in his office? Like, yeah, hello police, I have two mafia gangsters. Like, that would be the normal thing to do.
I studied the list and saw several known politicians listed as having taken money and committing different crimes. The crimes dated back to the early 2000s. This document exposed every person on the list. I quickly took pictures of the entire list. Then my door swung open and the short guy and his tall buddy barged in and locked the door behind them. Give me what you got from that locker, or I will make a call that will end your wife's life. Right now. I handed him the thumb drive and he cracked me across the face. I spit out some blood. Don't ever try some shit like that again. And your time to finish the job just got shorter. I'm giving you 20 minutes to end that rat bastard, or my guy will do it himself. He meant it. Okay. Just take it easy. I'll do it. You better. You got 20 minutes. I nodded, then walked out. As I entered Chris's room, Donna was next to his bed, and out of nowhere, Chris's totally crashed. His vitals went haywire, and his blood pressure dropped significantly. He went from stable to dying in the span of 20 seconds as his monitor flatlined. The fake cop stood.
I've got so many bills. I've before payday, especially now that baby's first.
The UK government is offering 30 hours funded childcare to help working families save on average £8,000 per year. This is just one of the ways we're tackling the cost of living.
Hi, welcome to Oak Warehouse. My name's Richard, I'm the owner here. Let me show you around.
We are back.
Fake cop stood up, and I wondered if he somehow poisoned Chris when Nurse Donna wasn't looking. He backed away, probably thought that Chris would die, and walked out, grinning to himself. I immediately jumped into action, grabbed the defibrillators, and used them on his chest before Donna knew what was happening. I zapped him again. Nothing. Then zapped him again. Nothing. The third time, his back arched off of the table. His arms went stiff, and he was so still afterwards that I thought it was over. I zapped him a fourth time, and by the miracle of God, I heard the monitor start beeping on and off again. He came back to us. My hands were trembling as I put down the defibrillators. Donna asked me if I was okay, and all I could do was shake my head, speechless. I noticed Chris's IV bag, then got an idea that might get me out of this nightmare. I had to save my family and didn't have much choice. And I checked my watch and saw that I had less than 15 minutes to finish the job. I walked down the corridor to the medication room, unlocked the controlled substances cabinet, and took out a 20 cubic centimeter vial of potassium chloride concentrate. I drew some of it into a syringe, put it in my pocket, and walked out. If any amount of this drug enters anyone's bloodstream, they're dead within seconds. I mustered up as much courage as I could, then walked out to the waiting room and addressed the three thugs. I'm ending this right now, but I need a guarantee that my wife and daughter are freed, and I need to see it. You can still hold on to them until I show you proof that the patient is gone. The short guy thought on it, then agreed. Fine. He sent a text. Several seconds later, the short guy showed me a live video feed of my wife and daughter in the back of a car. They both looked terrified, which made my blood boil. Give me 2 minutes, then come and confirm for yourselves. I walked into Chris's room and he woke up. Hey man, hey. He saw the syringe in my hand. What's that? I got close to him. Do you trust me? Yeah, I do. At that moment, the three thugs entered the room. I didn't have a choice, and I knew it was time. My brother looked at me, fear in his eyes. He looked just like he did when he was 6 years old, and we were playing street baseball, and I was teaching him how to swing. He closed his eyes and looked up at the ceiling, accepting whatever was to be. I held the needle over the IV port. Chris watched me and did not flinch. I took a deep breath, prayed to God under my breath, "Please let this work." I pushed the plunger into the bag and the fluid went in. He felt it. I watched his face register it as his sad eyes locked onto mine, as if I betrayed him. "It'll be okay." 20 seconds later, his heart monitor went flat. The tone was eerie and cold. I sat there and didn't move. The three guys all shared a reassuring nod, and then the short guy made a call. He showed me my wife and daughter being let go through the video screen in real time. I could see them step out of the car, then saw the car speed away. I closed my eyes, temporarily relieved for my family, yet still horrified for my little brother. The three thugs walked out. Once they were completely out of sight, I waved in a panic to Donna. Hurry up! We have less than a minute to save him." She rushed in as fast as she could with calcium chloride drawn up in one syringe and the high-dose insulin in another syringe. She was ready because earlier I had texted her instructions. She was doubtful. "Here." She handed them to me, and my hands shook as I started to inject them into his IV. "Are you sure this'll work?" "It has to. Chest compressions. Now." Donna started quickly compressing. She was as panicked as I was. "I don't think it's working. Just keep going." The amount of potassium chloride I gave him stopped his heart. In order to reverse it, we need the calcium to stabilize the cardiac membrane and the insulin to drive potassium back into his cells. It'll work. It has to. I finished pushing the syringes in and took over for Donna and started doing the chest compressions myself. "Come on, Chris. Come back. Come on, buddy. Please." 40 seconds in, there was no pulse. 60 seconds in, nothing. 80 seconds in, still nothing. I compressed as hard as I could, pounding down into his chest with every ounce of energy I had. Then suddenly, his heart started up again. We saw it go up and down on the monitor. I cried. We both did. He was alive. I hugged him, tears flowing down. "Welcome back, pal." I gathered myself, made sure he was stable, then quickly checked the surveillance cameras to see if my plan would work. I had also called the cops and notified them that we were dealing with the mafia. So I checked the surveillance cameras and saw that the three thugs were in the parking garage, still heading to their car. I prayed that the cops would get them before they left. Then my prayer came true because through the camera I saw 10 cops all jump out of their cruisers, gun drawn. They were yelling, "Get your hands up! Get your hands up right now!" The short guy glanced at his buddies, giving them a signal. They whipped out their guns and tried to shoot their way out. The idiots weren't very good at math. 3 against 10 are not good odds. The three mobsters got gunned down.
Why have I not
I
said
saw it
anything
happen
until
and let out a
that
huge sigh of relief. It was finally over. News reporters and cops flooded the building. I pulled the lead detective aside and showed him the pictures I took from the thumb drive list on my cell phone. He read the names and their crimes, and his eyes lit up like a Christmas tree. He quietly whispered, "Oh my God, this is a gold mine. This shows every connection any corrupt politician has ever had to the mafia and how much they received and what crime they committed. Do you have any idea how huge this is?" He walked away and called out to another cop, "Get me the FBI, now." Then my wife and daughter walked in, and I've never hugged them harder. The three of us stepped out into another room, and I showered them with kisses. I kneeled down to my daughter. "I'm so sorry, baby. You okay?" She nodded. "She's tougher than I think." A week later, Chris was moved to a remote rehab facility where no one could find him. Then, while I was at home playing with my daughter, I got a call from the same lead detective. "I just want you to know that we arrested over 40 criminals and politicians because of that list you got us." I smiled. Maybe there is a little justice in the world.
Okay, that was the end. That was a good video. See you in the next one. Goodbye.